In 2025, it is 6:34. My name is Jenny Rivera, and I chair the Holyoke City Council Public Safety Committee. Before we begin with our agenda, I'd like to take a moment to introduce the members of the committee. To my left, I have Councilor Patty Devine, and we're missing Israel Rivera. And also present in chambers, we have Councilor Carmen Ocasio, we have Councilor Kevin Jordan, Councilor Juan Anderson Burgos, and our Chief of Police, Chief
Brian Keenan.
Brian Keenan. Don't look at me like that. Today's meeting is being held in chambers on Zoom. It is being broadcasted live on Public Access Channel, and we are being recorded by Zoom, and we are being streamed and are in person. And with that being said, let's officially commence our public safety meeting. I'll entertain a motion to take item 1 off the table.
So moved, and I make a motion that we table it because they're not ready yet.
All in
The
favor?
minutes. All those in favor, yes, aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to take up item 2.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 2, filed by Councilor Israel Rivera, order that the Honorable City Council request that the Mayor, Department of Public Works, and the Parking Advisory Committee at the Public Safety Committee to discuss the possibilities of making parking enforcement a subdivision of the Traffic Division. This was tabled back in 2024, but Councilor Israel Rivera is not in chambers with us.
If I could.
Councilor Devine?
Madam Chairman, I'm thinking that even though Izzy's not here, the police chief's here, because it does look like parking enforcement is a division of the DPW. And it looks like Izzy would like to make it a subdivision of the traffic division, which would be the police department. But I think since Izzy isn't here, perhaps we should table it, and then if he comes in before we leave, we can bring it back up.
Okay,
Does that sound okay?
sounds okay. All right, so we'll table it for now until see if Izzy or Councilor Rivera comes online or comes in.
Yeah. I just would ask the chief, is that something you'd be interested in? Yes. You would? Okay, so the chief's interested.
Motion.
Okay, well, if the chief is interested, you want to just,
Have him
okay,
say.
yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and,
The floor is
you,
all yours.
it's all yours.
Yeah, I mean, parking enforcement.
Is it your, yeah, it's okay.
Good evening, afternoon, evening, it's been a long day. But parking enforcement, it falls under, in my opinion, the purview of the police department. As
Okay.
we issue citations for non-compliance, and parking is just another thing that citations need to be issued. And I can just tell you recently that we picked up a lot of our parking citations. The guys have been really good with paying attention to those neighborhood concerns lately.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I think this is where it belongs as well. So unless anybody else has anything to say, I would say that this item's been complied with, and the chief is interested in having those transferred. The parking enforcement, there's 2 of them, and they have 2 of those, what do you call those, kabukis or something?
Oh, the Kabuta.
Kabuta, yeah, they have 2 of
Trucks.
those. Okay,
I see Kelly's hand is up. I don't know if she
Oh,
wants to
Kelly?
speak, how she could
Yeah.
make this actually happen.
Okay.
I just wanted to flag that I believe it was a discussion in part of the finance restructuring, to possibly be under the tax collector, so I think there should probably be a larger conversation.
Kelly, just to understand what you just said there correctly, there was a discussion about moving the parking individuals to be under the tax collector?
Yeah, we're talking about the 2 men that currently give parking tickets for the meters, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it came up because of the collection of money. So that's why I just think maybe our tax collector and the committee should discuss it.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they knew about this order.
They're not included in this order.
Could you let us know if an ordinance change would be needed? Because then, either Izzy or one of the rest of us would have to follow up. And, I mean, me personally,
Yeah, for sure.
I would defer to the chief of police as to what he thinks is best. It seems that it's a
Yeah, and
law
I'll
enforcement
facilitate-
function.
Yeah, for sure. I'll facilitate that conversation too, just so everyone's on the same page.
Thank you.
Okay, so we should
So-
just table it.
I guess we're going to table that. Make a motion to table?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to take up item number 3?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 3 filed by Counselor Meg McGrath-Smith and Counselor Jordan, order that the HR Director and interim police chief come into council to discuss the positive and negative impacts of our policy of swearing in police officers prior to their finishing the police academy. We request that the HR Director provide original comparison of other towns and cities to see if we are following the best practice. And I do have Counselor Jordan here in chambers. You may have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So, just to tee it up, interested in the chief and Kelly's perspective on this, but how this was raised to me is in a couple of formats. One, I had some officers, superior officers, retired and otherwise, mentioned to me that Holyoke swears its officers in before they go to academy, and not every community does that. Some wait till you complete the academy and then they swear you in. So I wanted to, and they almost inferred, and I think I got this right, that we were rather like most don't until you're done, and then they swear you in, as opposed to doing it before. And the question is, okay, what's the positive and negatives of that? Now, putting that aside, we've had situations where people have gotten injured at the police academy. Does that, by swearing them in and they get injured at the police academy, does that now make them eligible for a disability pension? Okay, or some other financial consequence to the city that they could be, on the payroll, disability or injured on duty or something that if they weren't sworn in, that wouldn't be the case. Does it create a situation where, sadly, we've sent a number of people to the police academy and they didn't make it? In fact, I think at one point, Chief, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was one year where I think the majority of the people didn't make it. Okay, sadly. So are these people all now eligible to collect unemployment off the city because they were sworn in first, as opposed to maybe they have less rights for this if they get sworn in after? And then the third area that brings us in about this overall is, are we giving these new hires enough training? We also have the other issue that was cited in the January 2023 audit that really took Holyoke to task, because we're basically putting people on the street immediately upon graduating from the academy, and that we're not doing field training, and that most departments do significant field training. So it's been 2 years since that audit, so I'm interested to see if Holyoke has made any changes on that. I also want to be fair too, the chief, this was filed in November. He just came on in January. He's brand new on all of this. So wherever, and I'd be interested if the city versus other cities compare of what's a Chicopee, Springfield, these other ones do. Any insights that folks could have on this topic, we would appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah, so, Counselor Jordan, just so you know, I asked my HR listserv in Western Mass, and 19 people replied, 16 do it before, including Springfield, West Springfield, Wilbraham, Pittsfield, Agawam, and Marlboro, and then there's others that are a little farther out that we probably wouldn't compare to. And also, when I came on board, I wondered why we were swearing in before, because it didn't make sense to me, because most classes, there's one or two and sometimes four or five that don't make it out of the academy. So I didn't think it made sense that we were swearing in prior to them completing the actual requirements of being a police officer. And to your earlier point, yes, we would have to pay them injury on duty if they got injured when in fact they had never even stepped foot on the beat to, be considered a police officer. But the practice has changed and we do swear in after now. And I think
okay.
the reason why folks were swearing in before is because we do give a loan to police cadets and they pay it back upon in their paycheck. But they weren't technically an employee until they were sworn in, so they couldn't get that loan. But we've been working with the auditors and treasurer to try to make it happen where they could get the loan. It's part of the contract, but not be sworn in until they actually meet the requirements.
Oh, wow. So that's extremely helpful. So when about would you say approximately we change the policy, like the beginning of the year, you'd say, or?
I would have to defer to the chief and maybe Lieutenant Sotoloto would know. He shared some data with me that I can share with you all after, but
Okay.
it could have, it's not been that long.
Okay. Question, do you feel that and I'm glad to hear about the policy change. I think it makes a lot of sense. Do you feel that would help to protect us on
100%.
injured? Oh, beautiful. That's magic to my ear because we've had to settle some claims without
Correct.
getting into too much of the confidential side, but this issue has come up where it's hit us in the pocket and we're trying to protect the taxpayers if we can. I'd be interested, Madam Chair, if I could, in the chief's perspective on this.
So Kelly, to your point, if a recruit gets injured in the police academy, they're employed by this whole, we put them on workman's comp. We wouldn't put them on 111F. And that's it. But which wouldn't trigger a disability pension or any other stuff and leave us exposed. Like in the past, and without getting into any confidential stuff, like if you get injured at the police academy, you're not going to work in the records room at the HPD or we can't do that. It's not a good practice. We won't do that going forward. And for the points that Kelly made and you just made, like we don't want to own folks that work for us for 3 weeks and all that.
Exactly.
Give them a 60-year disability pension.
Right.
Because that's not the spirit of the law, but swearing them in a post-grad, and also just in the whole tradition of thing, you're not a police officer until you graduate from the police academy. So if you swear them in beforehand, it just doesn't make sense. And I get Kelly's point about the loan, how we've helped them finance their way through, because it costs like $2,000, Kelly, something like that is the price for the equipment that we loan them money for.
2,000.
So for a lot of kids starting out, 2,000 isn't. They wouldn't be able to get in the game if we didn't help them out. So
Right.
we helped them, and also just so you know, Counselor, with this new class we're hiring now, we're having them sign a contract that if they leave in the first 5 years, they pay us back the price of the academy.
Oh, nice.
Because we're not going to be the training ground for everybody else for free.
That's right.
Because we make a significant investment in time and tuition, and we have to recover that.
I'm glad you're doing that, Chief. In fact, that was actually cited in the audit as this, the cost in investing, and where are these people? Like, a lot of these people are washing out, and we're getting hit because we're doing all these, send people for different psychological and physical. There's a lot, background checks. I mean,
Expensive.
it's expensive to do all this onboarding. Chief, could you also touch, and while I only tangentially touch on it here in this order, I did want to see if you could give us an update on the field training after
Sure.
graduation from the academy. Have we started to touch on that? And could you kind of maybe let us know, like, what would Springfield do? And then here, they're not going, or hopefully we're on a trajectory so that we're not going right from academy right to the street with no field.
Yeah, so I tell you what, I give the HPD Acting Chief Cruz credit for this, because he got that done while he was the acting chief.
Okay.
And there is a field training program. I believe it's 13 weeks. So no one goes directly to the street anymore. And I tell you, that was my experience too. I graduated from the police academy. I worked by myself 2 days later. It was terrible. But it's a really decent program that they put together on. Lieutenant Wilson, Sergeant Bartholomew, and Captain Cruz put that together. It's good. We met the other day, and Lieutenant Sutter, we met the other day to tweak it a little bit as the things change. And so they did the first group last time. We only have 2 graduating this time, so it'll be better. We can tweak it and work it. And it's based on the San Jose field training model, which is a national standard. So it's a decent program, and it's in its infancy, and we'll continue to work on and develop it. And with only 2 coming out, it'll be a lot easier to monitor it. But like Springfield, for instance, bargained it 2 contracts ago, but they didn't bargain the stipend for the officers, which they just got done. And Springfield settled with the patrolmen last week. So they'll have it going forward. Okay. They're all the good ones, Counselor, are based on the San Jose model, and they're all a hybrid of that to fit the agency. But they did a really nice job with the FTO program here.
Nice. One just follow-up question is, do we do like mentors? And if you're a new employee coming on and say you're, a green patrolman, and you come on, are there a system built in either through this 13-week training or otherwise where the new person coming on, Sergeant so-and-so or longtime officer so-and-so, that there's kind of a buddy system or something like that when you first start, so you can ask all those green questions when you're first starting on all of that? I'm interested in your thoughts on that.
I don't know about before, but there is now. It's built in with the field training, because you meet with your coach every day. You work with the same guy. You meet with people that have had the field training.
Okay.
And it's good. And for the first iteration of it, from what I was told, was very successful. This will be the second one, which I anticipate being good. And hopefully we get a good group going in July. We had a decent number coming, but a bunch of them failed the physical fitness test the other day, and so we're struggling to get our numbers where they have to be, but we're grinding.
Okay, thank you very much.
I would make a motion, Madam Chairman, that item 3 has been complied with, and that they are sworn in after they attend the academy.
Great.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then a motion to take up item number 4.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So item 4, it was filed by Councilor Kevin Jordan, Councilor Givner, Israel Rivera, Patty Devine, myself, and it was ordered that the police chief, Board of Health Director, Mayor, and Law Department meet with the City Council to discuss improving numerous quality of life issues that we have seen or citizens have expressed concern with us. We would like to look at current strategies and see if they are effective and what we need to change, including the potential need to additional resources. We also request leadership develop a comprehensive plan, including a map that they can present containing all the resources currently provided, those planned, and need to achieve both short and long-term objectives. Since we have Councilor Jordan,
I'll take a first crack at it, and I'm sure myself and all my colleagues on here that co-filed this with me, I'm sure any of you.
Can I just say one
sure.
quick thing? This was, just so you'll know, was filed 6 months ago. So a lot's changed, and certainly we see on Facebook how much work the police are doing and all the great things they're doing, the drug busts and stuff. So I just wanted to add that.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you, Councilor Devine. I think it's a great point. And Chief, none of this was not designed to be critical. It's just, we as counselors, as you can imagine, we get bombarded with quality of life type of concerns. And your impact already has been felt in the short period of time since you started in January. But one of the things that I will say that we would certainly hope, and I'm confident it will be, that under your leadership, we will put the clamp down as much as you can on a lot of the quality of life issues. Ones that immediately come to mind for me that inspire an order like this would be things like, and the mayor, by the way, has done a good job of profiling some of these online, dumpsters overflowing, okay? And this is what general rule is what causes our trash problem down High Street, is from certain residents where these things overflow and there they go and the wind catches it and off to the races. So this one's a big problem. Now, having said that, Chief Scott at one time went about and started handing out all these $500 tickets, And he got kind of the cold shoulder down at the clerk magistrate's hearing where, everybody kind of spun their sad song about why it wasn't their fault. And a lot of them sort of got off the hook. I think we need a consistent, ticketing on that. Trash is a number one priority of complaint that I get. I'm sure my colleagues hear the same thing from constituents. It's if we can make an example out of these landlords that are repeatedly doing it, we need to make it such a pain in their rear end that it's more expensive for them to pay the tickets and keep going to court than it is for them to bring the truck an extra time and empty the dumpster, And so I would appreciate, and I'm sure others would, if and again, it can't be, you can only have so many top priorities, but periodically, even if it's quarterly, have somebody go around and, or however you think is best to get that feedback and wham out another layer of tickets and let them know, you mean business on this stuff. So there's that issue. The other thing, and this is more of a Board of Health one than the police, and I had them on here, is people parking boats on their front lawns, RVs, just a lot of these eyesores. We had a good meeting in here not too long ago relative to receivership that the city is doing, I feel, particularly the law department, a good job in that regard. Attorney Mantaleski specifically has kind of shepherded that when we talk about abandoned and dilapidating homes. We're starting to really make some good headway on those. But some of this other quality of life stuff and getting the tickets in your genre, Chief, I would think we get a lot of stuff on sound. And I know one of the things that we had asked was we were told we don't have a decibel meter here at the HPD. So we just kind of go on, do we think it's loud or not? I don't know if the decibel meters have been purchased or those are needed, but I know at one point we were told we haven't had we had one, but we haven't used it in 30 years, or none of them function, or it was something along those lines. But one would think if you're going up on house parties or you're going up on loud music, that kind of thing, you need that, here's the evidence. It wasn't just, I'm Officer Jones, and in my professional opinion, it was louder than 60 decibels. Someone could punch a hole in that. So I'm just saying, if you need the tools, we will support you. So just raising all this quality of life, maybe you could speak to it globally as to, how we're addressing these type of things. But yeah, I'll stop there. Thank you.
The trash. It's funny you bring up the trash counselor because last week, Sheriff Coachy was kind enough to send his whole crew over and we cleaned the parking lot at the police department. Sheriff was driving the Bobcat too. I guess it's professional. They striped the lines for us. They cleaned the parking. It hadn't been cleaned in 27 years. It was disgusting. Jim Wildman was kind enough he had his people do the backside of the fence. And I stood out in the parking lot. DPW came to and filled the potholes. And there was trash all in the thing. And I said to Lieutenant Sotomayor, I said, that block over there is going to get it tomorrow. Because we spent 5 hours cleaning the thing, and there's a block in the neighborhood where the trash is all over the place. So they're going to get a knock on the door tomorrow. But I 100% agree with you. It drives me, the litter makes me nuts. Because it's the most disrespectful thing in the world.
Totally.
Folks are taking care of their house, and someone's going to throw a cup out the window. And I was getting some shirts altered by the woman over here at the Suffolk Tailor Shop the other day. And she told me she's very happy that she thinks the trash has been cleaned up on High Street a lot, which was really nice to hear.
Yeah.
But I get it, and I'm on it, and we're going to spend some time on that. We have some community policing grants that we're going to target some of that stuff. And with the other ordinances, the narcotics guys have been doing a great job with the open-air drug dealing. We hit that park down on Main Street pretty hard. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to stay in the parks. We joined the regional ATV unit squad to see what we can do about that madness, which is a national problem, the ATVs and the dirt bikes in the street. And
Right.
we're on it. We're on all of that stuff. And the decibel meter, if we don't have one, we're going to get one. We have some money left over in equipment to purchase some stuff. The noise is an issue. the noise is an issue, and I mean, I don't know if it's gonna require an ordinance that we don't give loud music permits out after 9 o'clock at night. I mean, that ends the problem. They can go to 11 or 10, but I mean, reduce it to 9, reduce it to 7, who cares?
Right, maybe.
You know, who cares? Because why bother? I mean,
Right.
play your music loud, but don't torture people. Everybody has a right to live in peace.
Exactly.
And the problem with a lot of these loud music complaints is you go and then you leave and you come back and it's on again and it's on again. And I get it. And, you'll see a car with subwoofers that are louder than Rock 102. It just doesn't make any sense. But we're on it, and they're writing tickets for that. And the traffic stuff, they've been all over the place writing traffic tickets the last couple of days. And we've had a little pickup in that. And they're getting there. The officers they're reinvigorated. They're really out there doing a great job. I'm proud of them all.
We appreciate
But
it.
you're going to see it. I mean, then with with the weather being better, I sat on a lot of grant money. I didn't want to waste grant money in February and January when it was cold out and there's no one on the street. I figured sitting on it until May and June is a better use of our resources. So you'll see more police officers. The bike patrols are coming back. The walking patrols are starting.
Oh, wow.
soon.
Phenomenal.
So all of that type of stuff. But it's just, we have resources that we're going to use when we need to use our resources. It's not a slush. It's a very important resource that we have to, be strategic with. So, with an uptick of officers, you'll see an uptick of activity. But I'm with you on the trash. And I mean, nothing ticks me off more than you see trash in front of a house. And Dr. Smith, who's in Wellesley, who owns the house, it certainly isn't going on in his neighborhood.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I always said we should put an ad in the paper with the doctor's home and address, and that he owns this dump in
I
Hoyoke.
don't know why we don't put an ordinance in to require the landlord have their name and address and phone number and a placard in the front of their building. That would make it real easy, because if
Yeah.
there's noise at 12 Suffolk Street, look, we'll start calling Dr. Jones, and hey, your tenant's here. Put the placard on. You should be proud of your property. You should have your name proudly displayed on the property you own. Might be something for the council to think about doing.
Well, if you have a punch list of ideas for us, feel free to send them right along to us. We're not afraid to write ordinances here.
Everybody's accountable all of the time with this stuff. And for folks to think they can sit in Greenwich, Connecticut or Wellesley, Massachusetts at a country club while folks in Holyoke are suffering that work 3 jobs to maintain their own, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong, and I mean, I think we should really think about maybe passing some sort of ordinance where we put a placard with their name and the owner's name and phone number on it. Good landlords do that.
Right.
Good landlords post their names in the phone numbers.
I like that. Okay.
Councilor Anderson Burgos?
Chief Keenan, I can't thank you enough. It's like fresh air having you here. So I want to bring up, I'm looking at a message I received from a constituent. This message was received August 20th, 2024. So obviously you weren't here. But a certain resident pulled an application for a loudspeaker or whatever you call it. And there's this, I don't know what this person's name is, hired some, like, I don't know if he's a comedian or whatever, but I'm sure you heard of it because it's not too far from your house. It was super loud. Not only was it super loud, but the gentleman that they hired was using vulgar.
Oh,
and
that was in the park. That was up at Community. Nope. It's
This was
another one then.
in front of a house, residence, and it was so vulgar. Like there was recordings, and you could hear. And so the person that reached out to me was 2 streets away from where, and if he could record how loud that was, and apparently cops went over there. Let me read what he says. Hi, Juan, who is in charge of issuing permits for loudspeakers. We have a neighbor that's been playing and yelling since 6 p.m. and it is now 9:36, and the cops said they have a permit till 10 p.m., multiple calls to the police, and they can do nothing. So again, this was before you. I'm going to send you the address of the person because what I'm hearing now is that this person plans on doing it again this year.
Oh, God.
And Kevin, you would go nuts. I mean, I would. Anybody would.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, imagine there are children that live within
Right.
that area.
Right.
And you're going to scream out profanity? That is disturbing and disgusting. Like, it's one thing when you're within earshot and you're in a space with a group of people inside your home, but to be out on a loudspeaker in public at that hour of the night, and not to mention it was a school night, and people had to go to work. So I'm gonna give you that information just because I don't want this neighborhood to suffer that again. No one should.
Plus one, we don't know what the permit said. They could have lied on the permit.
Well, there's more information around that, and I'm going to look into it and get that information to you so that you are aware. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
Councilor Ocasio?
This is the chief of police. I believe it was Friday that Days Canvas had a big thing over there happening, and they were on the other side where I live at. I live on South Summer Street, and I heard their music in my living room. That's how loud that was. And then I started getting phone calls, and I was telling them call the police because but they kept going with the music into probably I think it was 6 o'clock, but it was so loud that I was in my living room, and I live in front of Morgan School. In my living room, my window open, and I was hearing their music in my living room.
Wow.
And then all the phone calls started coming in, so that's another thing that they should, before they was complaining about Springdale when they had the Puerto Rican festival thing over there, Chico P was complaining about Holyoke because they was hearing it over there. And I believed them because look how far from where theirs is at from where I'm at, and I was listening to, I was hearing it in my living room, and it was ridiculous, So, I don't know how, but I thought they found those digital things in the police station in a box somewhere to measure the sound.
Oh, the decibel meter.
Yeah, I think they said that last year, I believe.
Counselor, I don't know if they have them or not, but if I don't, I'm going to get them.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for making me aware of this, because, when I tell you my head's spinning every day when I go home, there's 99 million things, and every time we peel the onion off, there's more. And there's more, and I was unaware of this, but the guys will tell me, and if we need it, we got some money for equipment that we're going to.
Yeah.
So when you approve my transfer next week for salaries to equipment, we'll keep in
problem.
mind we need decibel meters, okay?
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah.
We need decibel meters.
I also wanted to say thank you to all the police officers. You guys are out there doing a great job. I noticed the impact. You guys are cleaning house, and I see more police officers out, and the residents are happy to see that.
Oh, I'm so happy. You know what we did, Counselor, was I was kind of shocked that there was no fixed beats for officers. So everybody was going to a different car every day, which makes zero sense. So I've had the captains put the same guys in the same neighborhoods. Because it's just a substitute teacher every day here. So, Counselor Jourdain had car 1 on Monday, then Counselor Burgosian had it on Tuesday, it doesn't work. So we're trying to keep the same officers in the same neighborhoods, just embracing the community policing, but that wasn't going on. And the guys like it because the guys want to know where they're going to work every day, and then they're invested in the neighborhood. If it's just like if the guy's there and he has a routine he likes, he works much harder at policing that neighborhood, and it's worked out very well.
And just for the heads up, in San Julio, there's going to be 20 houses, duplex. So it's
So
going to
dropped
be.
off, yeah.
It's probably, I hope it doesn't be busy, but just a heads up, it's going to be a lot of people.
Probably get nice people. They're brand new homes,
hope.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Councilor Devine?
I just wanted to say, I don't remember who I was talking to, it was a while ago, that Kevin, you might remember too, they had decibel meters in the police department, but they weren't working. I don't know if you had to plug them in or what, but they weren't working. So I just wanted to mention that to you.
So I'm going to get new ones, because I
Good.
guarantee whatever we have, the technology is much better today than it was
Oh, yeah.
3 years ago. So
Yeah. Okay,
We got some money that you guys are gonna approve the transfer for next week with no problems, and then we'll,
no problem whatsoever.
then we'll buy some decibel meters.
Yeah. You should talk to the chair of finance and you'll get that passed. Okay. So I'll make a motion that that order's been complied with.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to take up item number 5, 6, 7. Actually, 5 and 6 for now.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Items 5 and 6, both were filed by Councilor Israel Rivera. As we know, he's not here to discuss it. Item 5 was order that the chief give us an update or a plan as to how the approach is to
Good night, Kevin.
begin tackling issues outlined in the MRI audit. And then item 6 was also filed by Councilor Rivera. Order that the Honorable City Council requests that the officers working at the Holyoke Police Department's Community Service Center that could be fined at 208 Ray Street, STEM Building, come into public safety and discuss the initiative has been up to. Yeah, it makes sense there. And what plans they have to strategically work on filing in the gaps where service providers are not able to be present.
Madam Chairman, since Councilor Rivera could not make it tonight, I would make a motion that we table those 2 items for the next time we have public safety, and, because some of those are pretty serious, and I'd rather him be here.
Okay. Okay with that, Chief? Okay.
That's okay, because he's not here to ask you the questions that he wants to ask you. So,
All right, so we'll go ahead and table
table
this.
that, those 2. Then I'd make a motion to take up item number 7.
Are we tabling his too? He wanted us to
I'm
table.
gonna refer it to the
Okay.
chief.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So item 7 was filed by Councilor Bartley. This was a copy from April 16, 2024. So it's been over a year. Councilor Bartley, Councilor Sullivan, and Councilor Israel Rivera. Copy to the HPD enforced the stop sign at Brown Avenue and Laurel Street. Received, adopt, refer to HPD for implementation and sent to the public safety for a follow-up meeting in 2 months to review results. This was tabled back on December 30th, 2024. Before I give you the floor, I know we had a lengthy discussion on this. Residents came in. This was also an ordinance, very lengthy conversation we had, but I'll let you go ahead and take the floor from now.
This is at the corner. I was just going to make a motion that this has been complied with because it's a year old, but I also made a note to refer it to the Holyoke Police Department. So I don't know if you want to mention anything now or just, because all it is a stop sign at Brown and Laurel. That could be already done, I don't know, so we make a motion that that be complied with, and it's referred to the Holyoke Police Department.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I make a motion to take up item 8 and 9 together.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 8 was filed by Councilor Bacon. Order that the PD provide enforcement activities by Holyoke and/or state police regarding truck traffic during restricted hours at night and drivers exceed speeding limits on Homestead Avenue. And item 9, this was from January 21st, 2025. Also by Councilor Bacon, order that our police department address the illegal drag racing on Babolio Drive and coordinate with West Springfield Police as able to stop this activity. And Councilor Bacon did send an email that she will not be attending any meetings this week, so we are gonna,
She wants to table it.
yeah.
Make a motion that we table those 2 items.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. And next,
10.
item 10.
Motion.
Oh, make a motion that we take up item 10.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 10 was also filed by Councilor Bartley. This goes back for a year ago. It was Bartley, Councilor Sullivan and Councilor Israel Rivera have the HPD advice on the status of information of a traffic bureau and code enforcement. This was tabled back in December 30th, 2024. And after speaking with Councilor Devine, we say this order should go together
With that one we did.
Number 2?
Yeah, with 2. No, that's a swearing in a police officer.
Oh, okay.
This is number 2, where it's going to be a subdivision of the traffic division. And you were interested in doing that, Chief. So I think that item number 10 should also go with item number 2.
And Councilor Bartley also wrote that he wanted the order tabled, which were
Okay, so make a motion that we table it.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And
Unless the chief wants to say anything for the record about the traffic bureau and code enforcement, which I know is already being done. I was working with Captain Monfett some time ago to upgrade the tickets, so I know that's being done. So I don't know if you want to say anything, Chief, or we'll just table it.
Yeah, I mean, I know they were working on that, and I think it's done, to be honest with
Good.
you. I think Wally Borrego jumped in and gave him a hand, because
Great,
they were doing something a couple of weeks ago to get into the computer system, so I believe the project's complete.
great,
okay.
great.
So should we say complied with?
Yep, motion is that it be complied with.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
7:15,
Councilor Gifner's not here, and the last 3 are hers. So we
I
should-
make a motion that we take up item.
Oh, she's here. Oh, she's here. She's
Oh,
here.
great, okay. Motion to take up item 11.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 11 was filed by Councilor Givner with community support, ordered that the speed trailers be moved regularly to collect speed data from rotating locations throughout the city. Trailer priority shall be given to most dangerous streets and intersections areas as listed in state. AAA and other professional traffic data reports, 2 to 4 week period per location shall be determined ongoing. Speed data reports shall be submitted to public safety monthly for review. And Councilor Gifner is online, so I will give you the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And sorry that I'm so late. Yeah, we were just hoping, and I'm not sure if that's feasible to move them that regularly. I don't know how much time is needed to collect data for each location. But if there could be a way to move them around so that more areas of the city have data collected, that would be awesome. I would also note that we are working with MassDOT and Travelers Marketing on a distracted driving campaign where they'll also be gathering data throughout the city. So that'll definitely help this cause. But I guess the question is this a possibility? Is it realistic? If so, how can we do this? Thank you.
Good evening, Counselor. It is a possibility, and we are doing it. Sergeant Bartolome moves that trailer around frequently to spots to collect data. I'm not sure where it is now, but I think he was moving it the other day again. But I'll make sure it's getting done, and it is being done. I'll double check and make sure it's out. If they do move that around, and I know it doesn't stay in the same place. It goes from spot to spot.
All right, sounds good to me. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay.
Counselor Givner, can we give that motion to, it's been complied with?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Motion to comply, item number 11.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion to take up item number 12.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 12, also filed by Councilor Givner. This goes back to almost 3 years. Order that the HPD create a publicly visible calendar of speed trailers so that communities know when they can expect to see requested actions in their neighborhoods. This was tabled back in December 30th of 2024 and again on March 13, 2025. And Councilor Givner, I give you the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It sounds like this could also be complied with, seeing that the trailers are being moved around and that order was filed in an effort to get them moving around more. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion that the order's been complied with.
Second,
Unless
all
the
in
chief
favor?
wants to say anything.
I'm sorry, Chief. No. All in favor?
Aye. And make a motion to take up item number 13.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 13, also filed by Councilor Givner. This has been a year old already, with community support that the Chief of Police supply a written or an in-person update on what steps have been taken to address traffic concerns in Holyoke, especially in Ward 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, as required by City Ordinance Section 550-42, Traffic Squad, designation and training of members. The Chief of Police shall designate 6 members and such additional members as may, from time to time, be required to act as traffic officers. Such members shall receive and be given thorough and adequate training in the regulation and direction of traffic in accordance with a uniform and recognized standard. This was tabled back on December 30th, 2024. Councilor Givner?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, so this has been the ongoing question about the fact that we are, by ordinance, supposed to have a traffic squad. And yeah, I guess I missed the beginning of the meeting, so I'm not sure if this was touched on, but I would be interested in any updates on the traffic squad. I know Sergeant Bartholomew is part of that, but I also know we don't have 6 people and haven't been able to designate 6 people. So I'd be curious as to what the game plan is for the future.
I wish I could give you a traffic squad, Counselor. I do. I believe there's something in the supervisor's contract that is in conflict with that ordinance, too. I don't know what the date of the ordinance is, but long story short, if I had 6 people, I would put them there. So I lost 2 this week, unexpected. One with the state police, one's leaving to Chicopee. I lost a recruit we were supposed to get who just went to West Springfield, and I lost another one that we weren't expecting. That's 4 I lost this week. I thought I was getting 10. I'll be lucky if I get 3 or 4. So my numbers are bad. I'm anticipating 7 to 8 retirements in January, and I'm down 10 today. So, we're going to have to really, really dig at what we do and what we don't do unless we're able to solve this hiring crisis that the whole country has, but we're getting hit with it very hard in Holyoke. I'm hoping to God that the city can negotiate a contract with both unions that makes it better for everybody. There's no time to delay on that. The current staffing levels as required by the collective bargaining agreement make it almost impossible for me to staff the police department. And with the numbers going down, it's going to really, really, really cause a problem. I think that I would love a traffic bureau. I believe in traffic bureau. I believe that traffic sets the tone of civility in the city by enforcing those laws and, the loud noise and the speeding and all that stuff. I can tell you I've had a focus on it for the past 2 months, and the citations are through the roof where they weren't writing any at all. The guys wrote 40 the other night on one shift. So, we're getting there. The officers are working, but it's the age-old problem of we don't have enough bodies. And the audit said that I needed 15 to 30 more bodies, and that's not counting the 20 that I could be down 20 in January. So it's very important that the contracts get done, the guys get compensated, that the staffing requirements change as outlined in the audit, or it's not it's going to be very challenging. And I promise you, as soon as I can get that traffic bureau up and running, I will, because there's officers who want to work in it. It's a desirable post. And I don't know when that ordinance was created, but I guarantee it was prior to the heroin pandemic. I guarantee it was prior to the school shooting pandemic. I guarantee it was prior to the deadbeat landlord problem where I had to have officers there. So when these things were done, police had detectives, they had traffic, and they had patrol. They didn't have to worry about a narcotics squad. They didn't have to worry about a quality of life. They didn't have to worry about a Race Street project because these weren't the social issues at the time. So we're on it. We got grant money that's been augmenting which has been augmenting the traffic enforcement. And I think when we look at the numbers, after I've been here for 6 months, you'll be very happy of what they were prior to that, but it's a grind and it's a priority. It's a huge priority of mine, but absent bodies, it's impossible to just come up with 6 more officers. I mean, the only way I do that is I close narcotics or I close the detective bureau because there's only so many officers that I have.
We definitely don't want you closing those 2 departments.
No, but
No.
and then here's the other problem. So now we got Peck Middle School opening up, right? The school wants 2 more officers. I don't have 2 more officers to give them.
Wow.
So I mean, we're going to have to really roll up our sleeves and find a way to hire some people. I mean, and I think not just, but you're not just. It's not a Holyoke problem. It's really a municipal employment problem. As Councilor Givner, as you know. The 20 and 30-year-olds don't think the same that we did. So they're all free agents. They jump from police department to police department for money. And you got to look at where it is. So if Springfield's paying $300 a week more and Chicopee's paying $300 a week more and East Hampton's at $250, they're free agents now. They're not the same as my contemporaries. You know, where you just worked, you got a job and you stayed there. So we really have to address the workforce. Like, we're hiring people, not just in Holyoke, like, we're hiring people the same way we did in 1950 in 2025 with a completely different workforce. So we have to do that. And I think that if we were able to get these contracts squared away and we're able to find the resources to do it, we'll be able to correct some of these things. Like, and that's a whole nother topic, but I'm on it, but I mean, the staffing numbers aren't great, and I thought we were going to get a few more than we did, and we're not getting them. And the fitness test the other day, we had a number of them fail. I mean, kids they're just not in shape. They don't climb trees, they don't play kick the can, they don't run and play ball all day. They're on the Xboxes and the things, and it's showing a lack of general physical preparedness. So I'm on it. We'll get a bike patrol or something for the recruits, but we're trying.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. And I do want to echo what the chief has said. I know several candidates that are in the academy right now, and I did say to them, hey, so you're coming to Holyoke? And what I got was, no, Chicopee and Springfield, they pay more money. I'm like, oh, okay. And then also, they are out there doing their jobs because my daughter got stopped this weekend, and I was in the car, and I did not pull the card of counselor, but she looked at her phone and she got caught, and she got a warning first. They're out there doing their jobs. They're trying the best they can. And also, I do have, and I'm gonna kill your last name, Bartolome. He is on Zoom, and if you would like to weigh in, and anything you would like to say and add to this.
I don't have much more to say than what the chief has already said. I believe that we are upping our traffic data and stats. There's no doubt that the shifts are doing a lot more traffic, and with the traffic grant out there, we're definitely focusing on writing more tickets. We've also, with the distracted campaign that Cocaine and I are involved in, we're starting to write a lot more tickets for that too. So we're hoping that the numbers are going to go in the right direction. I definitely agree with the chief as far as we're in a struggle to hire patrolmen right now, and that stems from, like you said, the officers going to other departments because they're being paid more. It's a difficult thing. I understand the city doesn't have all the money in the world, but we have to do something, or we're going to continue to be the last choice, and we can't have that. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Anyone, any counselors? Nothing?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Councilor Gibner.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Chief, for really, doubling down on the efforts of the police department. It makes a difference. Your efforts are being seen and appreciated. So thank you. And I think this can be complied with.
Make a motion that this has
Thank
been
you.
complied with. And I'd also like to say, keep up the good work, stay safe, and keep putting it on Facebook, because that's what people see, that it's being done. So.
So the order's been complied with. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chief, for coming down. And I live in Ward 1, and I'm hearing it a lot. And they're like, Jenny, he's doing an amazing job. We're seeing lots more presence of the police department down there. I just want to say, continue doing the great work that you're doing, and we continue to look forward to working with you and the Holyoke Police Department. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, counselors.
Thank you. And thank you, Counselor Anderson Burgos, for being here tonight.
And Councilor Ocasio is always joining us.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Chief.
Thank you, good night.
Thank you, Councilor Gibner.